Yo, man, y'all know what time it is. The one and only OG Hollywood, man. Y'all remember to go to www.com, OG Hollywood Speaks, and get that Savage Drive gear. Because you know it take a savage out here on this flatland. And it takes a drive to get to the next level, man. Remember to go to www.oghollywoodspeaks.com, man, and get that Savage Drive gear. If you got what it takes to make it to the next level. Do you have what it takes to make it to the next level? If you do, go to www.com, OG Hollywood Speaks, man, and get that Savage Drive gear because it takes a savage to make it out here on this flat land, man. A real savage, man, especially in this Texas heat. You have to be a savage, man, because if not, your ass gonna fall to the wayside, man. Y'all remember hit that like button, that subscribe button, and most of all, share this content, man. Texas heat, man. Texas heat. When it bring it, it brings it. It don't matter where you at, man. The safest place in the world from Texas heat is on the inside. And I'm not talking about the inside of no Texas prison. I'm talking about the inside of your environment, inside the comfort of whatever you call home. If you ain't got no home, the comfort of your home is in a cardboard box. And I hope it's an air-conditioned cardboard box, because if it's not, you are a savage, man. And you got to drive to do whatever is necessary to make it in life. Like I said, for those that can escape this Texas heat and survive inside the comfort of their own home, that's where you need to be the majority of the time if you're in Texas. Now that bill gonna be high as hell, but it is what it is, right? Now let's talk about this Texas heat, man. And the only way I can talk about the Texas heat is I have to give you a little backdrop. Is when I was face to face with the Texas heat in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. I'll never forget, although I've been out a substantial amount of time. But what never changes is the system. They've been fighting to change it forever. They've been fighting to try to get air conditioning inside the units, but only some units got AC in it. Only some units got AC in it. Unfortunately, the only time that I would ever receive AC is when I first started out, when I did something fucked up, and they placed me in PhD. And then when they placed me in PhD, I couldn't wait to get out of that motherfucker, because that was a form of punishment, because they cranked the air conditioner up so cold to where you don't want to be in there. You got one blanket, your boxers, and what they call shower slides. And that's a form of punishment. But you only get that if you on a new unit. If you on one of those old units, ain't no AC. You got to get it like you live. What I mean by getting it like you live, you got to get you a piece of paper like you at church and fan like this here. And fan and try to fight for some air. Once again, if you want one of them old units, you got to get this right here and do this here and try to fight for some motherfucking air while 100 more people doing the same thing while y'all sitting in the day room and you drinking hot ass water out the fountain. Or you got to try to keep a towel on your face to cool you off. That's how it was when I was there. And that's how it still is if you on an old unit. Like I said, some new units got air conditioning, only in several places. Later on down the line, I had the luxury of working in a lot of those air conditioned places. Why? Because the longer you in prison, you understand where you really need to be is where a motherfucker surviving at. Because in 2024, somebody's gonna succumb to the heat and they're gonna be found unalive. Why? Because if it's 115 outside, it's probably 120 inside. Let me give you a story. I never forget. 2-row, 24 cell, lockdown. It was day one, week one. We had just came out of a ride. My cellie went to lockup. And it was hot as a motherfucker in the summertime. The first time that I was ever face to face with what they call the walking pneumonia. Didn't even know I had it. Felt like a champ until I was put in that motherfucking cell on day one, week one of a 45-day lockdown because of a ride. There I almost went. Down goes Frazier. It's so goddamn hot in that motherfucker, man. You cooking. You cooking. And I'm in the front of the window where ain't no letting up. I'm at the end of the run where in front of my cell is bars in front of my cell. The only way you look down the run or only way somebody coming down the run is at count time. You can call a motherfucker and they ain't gonna hear you. That's how hot it was. Ain't nobody coming down the run. The laws didn't even want to walk the run. It's so motherfucking hot in that Texas prison system. And here I was, sitting in the cell, cooking like a motherfucker, sitting on the floor. Once again, the only fan I had was a small motherfucking fan, and it was a clip-on fan. These are the fans they sold at that particular time. Later on, they started selling a big rotating fan, but I had the clip-on fan, and it was me face-to-face with the clip-on fan, and the only thing I had to back that shit up was this right here. I'm trying to survive the Texas heat. Guess what? I lose fighting that heat. That heat with walking pneumonia, you don't know what's going to happen. The only time that I thought I was going to die in that motherfucker. The only time. Any other time I knew I was going to survive because I didn't have no choice. So here I am with a little old bit ass mirror, which they call a peep mirror. You use that to look down the run. So whatever you're doing against the rules and regulations, the laws won't see you. Here it is, I got this motherfucker sitting up here and I'm peeping down the run trying to see what's going on, trying to see who coming. To be honest with you, I want somebody to come because I'm in this joint sick. It's hot outside, I'm sweating bullets. I'm sweating bullets. So as I put the mirror up down there and I'm looking down the run, everything get blurry. Everything get blurry. The first time I ever wanted the law to come up there. So I tell my next door neighbor, because my motherfucking voice is faint now. I reached over there and grabbed and say, look out, homie. Call the law for me. Call the law for me. So my next door neighbor said, man, what's up, Wood? I said, man, I'm over here about to die. But they think I'm just capping. I'm literally about to die because I got pneumonia. So I said, man, I'm sick. I'm sick, homie. And I can't even breathe in this motherfucker. I can't even breathe. I'm looking down the run, but everything is blurry. So now he put his mirror over there. And my whole motherfucking face was red. He said, God damn, Wood, your whole face red, homie. I said, call the laws. So they called the laws down there, right? And lawman get up there, what's going on? He said, man, my neighbor's sick. I'm so fucked up, I'm just laying on the floor. I done took all the water out the sink and just done put it on the floor. I'm laying in a puddle of water with a towel over my face. Hot water with this motherfucking me, little old fan trying to blow, trying to cool me off. So now he come up here. He ain't got no experience in this shit. He go to hollering like he's sick. So anyway, long story short, they get the people down there. They roll the dope. No, they coming over with the procedure, take my vitals, my goddamn temperature so high. They said, man, we got to rush him to the infirmary. So they rushed me to the infirmary. First time I ever had a ice bath in my whole motherfucking life was in prison. So they get buckets of ice, buckets of ice, buckets of ice. I'm sitting in this motherfucking stainless steel tub. I'm out of there. So finally, they get the temperature to drop. They get the temperature to drop. Now my motherfucking skin color came back. Skin color came back. So boom. They take me out of there. You know, I put my clothes back on. They IV me up, hydrate me. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing was I was dehydrated. And like I said, I was sick, didn't even know the shit. Why? Because sometimes we so healthy, the shit don't even show up until I was face to face with that motherfucking heat. And that shit showed up out of nowhere. So anyway, long story short, man, I come around, you know, they antibiotic me up, keep me in the infirmary for a day. I loved it. Why? Because it's AC. I was like, damn, this is where I need to be, in the motherfucking infirmary. But when you come back around, back to the heat, your ass go. So now I get my shit back. Same cell, ain't shit changed. Same cell, still on lockdown when I get back. It was a 24-hour reprieve. I get air conditioning. They give me my antibiotics. Let me know your ass had pneumonia. Ain't no telling how long you had it because you're so healthy, it ain't showing up. But anyway, long story short, man, I just wanted to give you a story of my time face to face with that heat, not only in Texas, but inside of a Texas prison, where the argument is up today that they still arguing, trying to see if they're going to install air conditioning inside of Texas prison, which the answer should be yes, regardless of the situation of what a person has done in society. Inside that motherfucking prison, those people are being cooked alive. Cooked alive. And it's 2024. Somebody will succumb to the heat before this year over with. Trust me, it will happen. It's bound to happen. So for those that are here in these streets and doing what you do, and I'm not going to try to change your mind. You do whatever you feel like is necessary for you to do. But I will tell you this. If you give your fucking freedom up, you going to the hottest place on the motherfucking universe in the summertime. Imagine this. Being in all that motherfucking heat. And when you come from court, they give you a bunch of time. You got to double up. You got to double up. But like I said, to each his own. I ain't here to save nobody. You can do whatever you want to do out here in these streets. I'm just telling you, it's a sign that say don't mess with Texas. But they didn't add that other piece on it. Don't go to that Texas prison because whatever the degrees is outside, it's the same degrees on the inside. And you don't have to believe me. You can go and come back and tell your motherfucking story of the time that you was faced with the Texas heat. But anyway, man, from me to you, they arguing over it right now. They trying to get some AC in there, man. The people that have people that's in prison, they say it's cruel and unusual punishment. But the other people that crimes were committed against, they said, fuck them, let them burn. They said, let them burn, man. So it's a split, man. But that's my story, man. I just wanted to get that spiel for anybody that didn't think that Texas heat inside that prison is for real. That shit is real. That shit is real. And when you go in there in that cell, especially on that old unit, ain't no motherfucking wind blowing through there. You got a couple of ceiling fans blowing up through the ceiling. They bring an igloo to the day room and they drop a cube of ice in that bitch and they sit it in there, and 5 minutes after sitting in there, it's gone. That's how hot it is. And it's gonna be gone even quicker because when them dudes see it come in there, they got them cups ready and people ready for some water. I done seen people get their ass beat over that ice water. It don't even be cold. It's just a mind thought and they think it's cold. But I done seen a lot of people go down behind that yellow igloo cooler. So anyway, man, like I said, man, Texas heat for real, man. But I just had to tell y'all that story of the time that I was faced with that fucking heat. It's hot in that bitch, man. The same way it is hot in here. When you walk outside, it's double in that bitch. And they talking about it. They talking about it right now out here in society, man. And because people are still faced with that challenge, man. Why? Because you know people get sentenced every day, man. You know these boys ain't gonna stop going. They gonna keep going. They gonna keep going. And they're gonna be able to tell their Texas heat story when they get back. So that sign that says, don't mess with Texas, they talking about both of them. Texas and the Texas prison system. So let's hear what they gotta say about how the inmates and the people that are incarcerated, parents are talking about the heat in Texas prison.
Families of Texas inmates are worried as summer is approaching. About 90,000 inmates live in cells with no air conditioning.
Guards and inmates alike are urging the state to improve conditions they call deadly. Our Ryan Chandler joins us live from the University of Texas at Austin campus with their message and also some new data showing what the state has done to address this issue. Ryan.
Well, good evening. We're here on campus with advocates and with families of those incarcerated in TDCJ. They're challenging people here to stand the temperatures in this hot cell. The temperature right now is about 90 degrees, but I'll tell you, I did this same challenge in front of the Capitol this summer when it was a 105-degree day in July. Couldn't last for about more than 5 minutes, but even this is hotter than the maximum allowed temperature in state jails. In state prisons, there is no such temperature limit, and that thermometer could easily last up into the hundreds or higher in real cells in our state prisons. That's why TDCJ is taking some efforts to add air conditioning to more cells. While these advocates say no less than 100% is acceptable.
The conditions inside TDCJ are inhumane. No family member should have to stand in the shoes that I stand in today.
Nearly a year after Tona Southard's son was found dead in his cell, she fears for the summer heat to come again.
It's unjust. It's unacceptable.
She believes the stifling heat in his uncooled cell led to his death, as medical studies show it likely has for hundreds of other inmates.
It's dangerous. It's even deadly for so many people who are incarcerated.
And they need to put forth action.
TDCJ is now taking action to cool more units, thanks to $85 million from the Texas legislature. Today, the department incarcerates about 132,000 people, and they only have 45,500 cool beds, enough for about 1 in every 3 inmates. AC units are in the works for about 14,000 more beds, creating enough AC for 45% of the population. TDCJ tells us there's no estimated completion date for those projects, leaving advocates dreading the summer yet again.
It's not enough. I'm glad that they're doing it, but we're talking about approximately 96,000 individuals who will still not have air conditioning this summer. This summer, they will die.
Good news for about 45,000 inmates in Texas, but as you just heard, tens of thousands left to go, many of whom will be facing a very hot summer with no air conditioning. It's probably going to take a lot more resources from the state in order to add more air conditioning into our prisons. There was a bill to do just that, to mandate and fund universal AC inside TDCJ, but it failed last legislative session.
It failed last legislative session. 25 years I spent in there. It wasn't no AC. And I don't think it's going to be no AC no time soon. Don't get caught in that number that they showed. Because guess what? You're going to be faced with two things. A possibility of succumbing to the heat and the time that they give you. Those are the two most deadly things. The mental stress you put yourself through, and you got to fight that heat. We all know, man, heat is the #1 killer if you don't have the right tools to survive. Remember, man, to hit that like button and that subscribe button, man. Hit that like button and that subscribe button, man. And y'all share this content, man, because guess what? This Texas heat ain't no joke, man. And that Texas prison system ain't no joke, man. Salute.